Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time we're exploring the world of plant-based, ethical, and eco-friendly businesses, and how a creative consultant can be this secret weapon to help your brand stand out and thrive. We're going to be looking at some insights from Brennan, one of the leading creative consultants and brand strategists out there. He's been working with tons of businesses just like yours, helping them increase their awareness, boost their efficiency, and ultimately watch that revenue just skyrocket.
Yeah, what's interesting about his work is that he talks about this gold mine that businesses often just can't see themselves. It's almost like having a treasure map, but you don't realize X marks the spot is right there under your feet the whole time.
Okay, stop right there. I'm already hooked. Give me an example. What does one of these hidden gold mines actually look like in practice?
Okay, sure. Let's imagine a plant-based food company. They're trying to get into a new market, right? They're doing all the right things, marketing, social media, the whole nine yards. But Brennan might come in and see that their biggest opportunity is actually something totally different, like striking up a strategic partnership with sustainable living stores, or those cool subscription boxes that are already catering to their ideal customer.
So it's not just about doing more of the same stuff. It's about finding those unique leverage points that can really multiply your impact.
You got it. And that's just one example. Brennan breaks it down into 5 key reasons why bringing in a creative consultant can be such a game changer, especially if you're in that values-driven space like the plant-based market.
I'm all ears. Let's hear them.
All right, so number 1 is strategic differentiation. Figuring out what makes your brand truly unique in a world that's full of choices. It's not just about being different for the sake of it, though. It's got to be about identifying those selling points that truly resonate with the people you want to reach.
And I can definitely see how that's extra important for plant-based businesses. I mean, there's this growing awareness of things like ethical sourcing, sustainability, animal welfare. But how do you break through all that noise and really connect with consumers on that deeper level?
That's where Brennan's approach is super interesting. He helps you figure out how to express those values in a way that not only teaches people something, but it makes them feel something too. So instead of just saying, hey, our product's organic, which everyone's doing these days, he might suggest telling the story of the farmers who grow those ingredients, highlighting their commitment to sustainable practices, fair trade, all that good stuff.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
It's connecting the dots between the product and the values behind it. So it's not just about what you're selling, it's about why you're selling it. All right, what's next?
So number 2 is efficient resource allocation, which basically means getting the most bang for your buck. Plant-based businesses often work with tighter margins or face higher costs for ingredients because they're doing things the right way, ethically sourced, and all.
Okay, so it's about making every dollar count. But how does a consultant actually help with that? Wouldn't they just be another expense?
That's what people think, but Brennan pushes back on that. He argues that a good consultant helps you find and eliminate waste, whether it's inefficient marketing spending stuff you're not using right, or even whole groups of potential customers that you haven't tapped into yet.
So it's not just about cutting costs, but also finding new ways to grow that you might be missing.
Exactly. For example, a plant-based beauty brand. They might be pouring all their money into traditional advertising, when maybe partnering with some eco-conscious influencers would give them a way bigger return on that investment.
I'm starting to get it. Sometimes you need a fresh set of eyes to shake things up and see those opportunities. Okay, give me number 3.
Number 3 is enhanced brand communication. This goes beyond just having a clever tagline. It's about creating a whole communication strategy that's true to your brand and speaks directly to the people you want to reach.
We've all heard authentic messaging a million times. But what does that really look like for a plant-based business? Is it showing off eco-friendly packaging or talking about how healthy a vegan diet is?
It can be all of that, but it's even more than that. Brennan is all about connecting with people's values on an emotional level. For example, a clothing company that's plant-based. They could focus on the origin story of their sustainable fabrics, showing the positive impact on the environment and the communities where those materials come from. It's about making the customer feel like they're part of something bigger than just buying a shirt.
It's selling the feeling, the experience, the impact behind the product.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, what's the 4th one?
Number 4 is innovative solutions for market challenges. This is where a creative consultant can really shine. They combine out-of-the-box thinking with practical know-how to help you overcome obstacles, especially the ones that are unique to the plant-based world, like finding better packaging for your products, figuring out alternative supply chains, even creating whole new categories of products that meet the needs of customers that are changing all the time.
That reminds me of all the awesome innovation we see in plant-based food. New neat alternatives are popping up everywhere. and brands are constantly trying to find ways to make their packaging more eco-friendly. It's a really exciting time to be in this space.
Totally. And a lot of that innovation is thanks to creative consultants. They're the ones pushing the limits of what's possible while staying true to sustainability and ethical production.
It's like they're the architects of a more conscious and sustainable future. All right, we've got 4 down, so what's the 5th and final reason?
The 5th reason is unlocking collaborative opportunities. Brennan's a big believer in strategic partnerships. They're crucial for plant-based businesses to grow their reach, amplify their impact, and even make their operations smoother.
So finding the right partners to team up with, whether it's co-creating products, sharing marketing resources, or even helping each other with distribution.
Exactly. And these partnerships can be incredibly powerful, especially for those smaller brands who are trying to make it in a market with some big players already out there. Imagine a vegan bakery partnering with a local coffee shop to sell their pastries, or a sustainable clothing brand collaborating with an eco-conscious influencer to get the word out about their new collection.
Seeing how all these 5 reasons kind of fit together like puzzle pieces. It's not just about making one change. It's about looking at your whole business strategy holistically, from how you set yourself apart to how you use your resources, communicate your message, overcome challenges, and collaborate with others. It's about weaving those values into everything you do.
You got it. And that's exactly what Brennan helps businesses to do. He sees the big picture and guides them towards a way of doing business that's more sustainable and impactful. It's not just about making money, it's about making a difference. And that leads us to a point that Brennan makes that I find really intriguing. He says, investing in the right expertise isn't a cost, it's the first step to printing money. Kind of a bold statement, right? But it makes you think.
Yeah, it definitely challenges the way we usually think about consultants, like they're just another expense. But I got to admit, I'm a bit skeptical. How can you be sure that a consultant's going to deliver a return on your investment? Especially for a plant-based business that might already be working with tighter margins than others.
That's a valid question, but flip it around for a second. What's the cost of not investing in expertise? What are you potentially missing out on because you're stuck doing things the same old way? Or maybe you just don't have the time and energy to explore new avenues.
You're right. It's like that saying, if you think it's expensive to hire a professional, wait until you hire an amateur.
Exactly. Brennan's not just talking about any old expertise, though. He's talking about strategic creative thinking, the kind that can unearth those hidden gold mines and lead to massive growth. He believes that the right consultant can help you see and seize opportunities that you wouldn't have even known existed otherwise.
So it's not just about doing things better, it's about doing different things altogether, the right things that can really move the needle.
Exactly. And that's where the printing money analogy comes in. Think about it. If a consultant can help you double your revenue, streamline your operations, or tap into a whole new market, their fee suddenly looks pretty tiny compared to the value they've created.
Okay, I'm starting to see the light here. It's about shifting your perspective from seeing a consultant as just another cost to seeing them as an investment in your future success.
You got it. Brennan's approach actually reminds me of another brilliant business strategist. This strategist was all about maximizing what you already have to achieve exponential growth. And they had this really interesting concept called highest and best use.
Oh, I've heard of that. It's about focusing your limited time, energy, and resources on the things that give you the biggest return, right? Kind of like focusing on your strengths and figuring out how to delegate or eliminate everything else.
You nailed it. This strategist argued that we should always be asking ourselves, what are the things that are going to have the biggest impact on my goals? And a lot of times it's not about working harder, it's about working smarter.
Okay, so how does this highest and best use idea apply to a plant-based business? These businesses face some unique challenges, right? Like sourcing ingredients, ethically navigating a market that's constantly evolving, and figuring out how to appeal to conscious consumers.
That's where it gets really interesting. Let's say you're running a plant-based food startup. You're probably wearing a ton of hats, doing everything from product development to marketing to fulfilling orders. But are all those things really the highest and best use of your time and energy?
Probably not.
Okay.
I can see myself getting lost in the day-to-day stuff
Yeah.
and losing sight of the bigger picture.
Exactly. So putting the highest and best use principle into action might mean figuring out the 1 or 2 things that you're truly amazing at, the things that really drive your business forward, and then finding ways to hand off or outsource the rest.
Okay, so maybe my highest and best use is developing those incredible, innovative plant-based recipes. But I'm spending way too much time on social media marketing, which I'm not even good at. And honestly, it kind of drains me.
Right. Perfect example. In that case, your highest and best use might be to pour all your energy into creating those amazing recipes and find a marketing expert who can help you get the word out to a bigger audience. Or maybe you invest in some software that can automate some of those order fulfillment tasks, freeing you up to focus on what you do best.
It's all coming together now. Understanding your strengths, prioritizing the things that create real value, and finding ways to leverage expertise, whether it's through partnerships technology or, yeah, even hiring a consultant.
You got it.
Yeah.
Now, this strategist I was talking about, they used a really clever analogy to illustrate this point. It's a story about a notorious bank robber. When asked why he robbed banks, the robber's answer was, because that's where the money is.
Okay, now I'm really curious. How does a bank robber connect to running a plant-based business?
It's about focusing your energy on the high probability targets, the areas where you're most likely to see a return on your investment. This robber was strategic, he went where the money was, and in business you need to do the same thing.
So instead of chasing every shiny object that comes along or trying to be everything to everyone, we need to identify those key leverage points that will have the biggest impact on our bottom line and, of course, on our overall mission.
You get it. It's about being laser focused on your goals and making sure your actions align with those goals. Imagine your marketing efforts are like that bank robber. Are they robbing the right bank?
That's a great question. Are we targeting the right people with the right message? Are we putting our resources into the things that will really drive growth and that are in line with our values?
Exactly. It's about being strategic and intentional with every decision we make. And sometimes that means getting expert guidance to help us see the bigger picture and spot those high probability targets that we might be missing.
I'm convinced, but let's be real for a second. Not every plant-based business has the money to hire a consultant. What advice would you give to those entrepreneurs who are just starting out or running on a super tight budget?
You're right, not everyone's at a place where hiring a consultant is feasible. But that doesn't mean you can't benefit from the same principles we've been talking about. It all starts with having a mindset of continuous learning and always looking for ways to improve.
I mean, even if you can't afford a consultant, you can still think like one.
Absolutely. Start by asking yourself some tough questions. What am I really good at? What are my weaknesses? What are the activities that create the most value? Where are the gold mines hiding in my business?
I love that. It's about taking responsibility for your own growth and finding the knowledge and resources that can help you level up.
Exactly. And there's so much free or low-cost stuff out there these days. Online courses, communities, books, podcasts. And don't underestimate the power of networking and connecting with other entrepreneurs in your space.
Collaboration over competition, especially in the plant-based world. There's a real sense of shared mission there.
Absolutely. As you gather those insights and start trying new things, make sure you're taking notes. What's working? What's not working? What have you learned along the way?
Turning those experiences into valuable data that you can use to make better decisions in the future.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to get feedback from other people, your customers, your mentors, even your competitors.
What's feedback from competitors? Really?
You might be surprised. You'd be surprised how willing people are to share what they know, especially if they believe in the same things you do. And sometimes those outside perspectives can reveal blind spots that you wouldn't have seen on your own.
I like that. It's all about having a growth mindset. Seeing challenges as opportunities to learn and innovate.
Exactly. And remember, even if you can't afford a consultant right this second, it's smart to start building relationships with experts in your field. You never know when those connections might come in handy down the road.
That's great advice. It's about playing the long game. Investing in your network as much as you invest in your business. Speaking of investments, we've been talking a lot about Brennan's work. How can our listeners connect with him if they're interested in exploring his services?
He's got a really easy-to-use intake form on his website. It's a great way to start the conversation and see if it's a good fit.
Perfect. We'll be sure to link to that in the show notes. Before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to circle back to that highest and best use concept. It's so powerful, but I think it can be a little abstract for some people. Can you give us some practical questions we can ask ourselves to figure out what our own highest and best use activities are?
Sure thing, you. Here are a few to get you started. What are the things I'm truly passionate about and really excel at? What are the tasks that consistently make a big difference in my business? What are the things that only I can do, and what can I delegate or outsource? What activities drain my energy and don't really play to my strengths? If I had only work on 3 things each day, what would they be?
Those are great questions. I think it's important to also consider the opportunity cost of our actions.
Yeah.
When we choose to do one thing, we're automatically choosing not to do something else. So we got to be really mindful of how we're spending our time and energy.
That's crucial. Every decision has an opportunity cost. And by being more aware of those costs, we can make smarter, more strategic choices. Choices that are in line with our big picture goals.
It's not just about being efficient. It's about doing the right things efficiently.
Exactly. And sometimes that means letting go of things we enjoy or are good at, but that don't really contribute to our long-term success.
It's about making those tough choices and putting first things first.
You got it. And remember, this is an ongoing journey, not a one-time destination. Your highest and best use might change over time as your business grows and evolves. The key is to keep evaluating and adjusting your approach to make sure you're always operating at your full potential.
I love that. It's about embracing continuous growth and improvement.
Exactly. And that brings us full circle back to Brennan's main message. Investing in the right expertise, whether it's your own or someone else's, is absolutely essential for unlocking exponential growth and achieving those breakthrough results.
So it's not just about working harder, it's about working smarter, making strategic decisions, and using the power of expertise to push your business forward.
You got it. And remember that gold mine of potential is out there waiting for you to discover it. It's just a matter of having the right tools, the right mindset, and the right guidance to help you excavate it.
This has been so insightful. But before we move on, I want to acknowledge that we've been talking a lot about strategy and maximizing resources. But let's not forget about creativity, especially for plant-based businesses where innovation is key.
You're absolutely right. Creativity is what sparks innovation and sets you apart from the crowd. It's what helps you connect with your audience on a deeper level and create products and services that really delight and inspire people.
So how do we tap into that creative energy? Is this something you're born with, or can you actually learn to be more creative?
Here's the thing about creativity. It's not some magical gift that only certain people have. It's a skill you can develop and improve with practice and by exposing yourself to new ideas. We're all born curious. We all have that desire to explore and experiment. And that's the heart of creativity.
So it's not about waiting for inspiration to strike. It's about actively seeking out new experiences, questioning your assumptions, and being open to constantly learning new things.
Exactly. The more you expose yourself to different perspectives, ideas, and ways of thinking, the more you expand your creative potential. It's like building up a mental library of inspiration that you can draw on when you need to solve problems, come up with new ideas, or just approach your work with a fresh perspective.
So if we want to be more creative, we need to be more curious, more open to new experiences, more willing to step outside our comfort zones. That sounds like a recipe for growth, both personally and professionally.
It is, and the great thing is, the more you practice creativity, the more natural it becomes. Just like any skill, the more you use it, the better you get. And the more creative you become, the better you'll be at spotting those hidden opportunities, overcoming challenges, and achieving breakthroughs in your business.
That brings us back to the idea of working with a creative consultant. They can help you see things from a different angle, challenge your thinking, and encourage you to think outside the box. They can be your creative partners, helping you unlock your full potential.
Couldn't agree more. A good creative consultant is like a catalyst for innovation. They bring fresh eyes, a ton of experience, and a whole toolkit of creative problem-solving techniques. They can help you see the possibilities you might miss and guide you towards solutions that are both effective and true to your brand's values.
We've been talking a lot about the benefits of working with creative consultants. But let's shift gears for a minute and talk about why you, the listener. What are some practical things you can do to start finding those hidden opportunities in your own business?
That's a great question. It all starts with being curious and willing to question the way things are. Ask yourself, what assumptions am I making about my business? Are there areas where I'm stuck in a rut? What could I be doing differently?
I love that. It's about asking those tough questions and being open to the answers even if they make you a little uncomfortable. It's about embracing continuous improvement and always striving to be better.
You got it. And don't be afraid to look for inspiration outside your own industry. See what other businesses are doing, especially those in related fields. What are they doing well? What are their challenges? How are they innovating? You might be surprised at what you can learn from businesses that seem totally different from yours on the surface.
It's all about cross-pollination of ideas, borrowing inspiration from unexpected places and finding ways to adapt it to your own business. That's where the real magic happens.
Absolutely. And as you start exploring new ideas and perspectives, don't be afraid to experiment. Try new things, even if you're not sure they'll work. Embrace the possibility of failure as a chance to learn. Some of the greatest innovations have come from unexpected mistakes.
It's all about having that growth mindset, seeing challenges as opportunities to learn and innovate.
Exactly. And as you're experimenting and exploring, remember to keep track of what you're learning. What worked, what didn't, what surprised you. The more you track your progress, the more you'll understand what works best for your business and your customers.
That's a great tip. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of trying new things. But if we don't take the time to think about what we've learned from our experiences, we're missing out on a huge opportunity to grow.
Absolutely. It's about turning those experiences into valuable data that you can use to make better decisions in the future, building a knowledge base that you can draw from as you continue to evolve and grow your business.
Okay, so we've talked about the internal stuff, cultivating that mindset of curiosity, challenging assumptions, all that. But let's not forget about external feedback. What do you think about getting feedback from customers, partners, even competitors?
That's a crucial point. We can get so caught up in our own heads that we forget to see our business through other people's eyes. Getting feedback from different sources can give you invaluable insights into your strengths, weaknesses, and areas where you can improve.
It's about stepping outside our own little bubble and seeing how our business is perceived out there in the real world.
And don't just focus on the good stuff. Pay close attention to the criticisms and complaints. Those are often the most valuable pieces of information because they show you where you need to improve or where you're not meeting the needs of your target audience.
It's about turning those criticisms into opportunities for growth, right?
Exactly. Every piece of feedback, whether it's good or bad, is a chance to learn and get better. It's about creating a culture of continuous feedback and using it to fuel innovation and growth.
So just to recap, we've talked about cultivating curiosity, challenging assumptions, finding inspiration from unexpected places, experimenting, keeping track of your results, and getting feedback from all sorts of people. These are all things anyone can do to start finding those hidden opportunities in their business.
And as you go on this journey of discovery, be patient with yourself. It takes time to change your mindset, to break old habits and embrace new ways of thinking. But the rewards are definitely worth it.
I couldn't agree more. And as we've seen from Brennan's insights, those hidden opportunities are often closer than we think. It's just a matter of opening our minds, being willing to question the way things are, and taking action.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone. There are resources out there to help you along the way, including those creative consultants who can offer guidance, support, and expertise.
And speaking of resources, we've got to mention Brennan's intake form. It's a great way to start the conversation about how he can help you discover those hidden gems and scale your plant-based brand.
Totally. And for those who want to learn more about the principles of making the most of what you already have, we'll be sharing some additional resources in the show notes.
Perfect. Now, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a final thought, something to think about. As you continue on your journey of finding those hidden opportunities and growing your impact, if you could wave a magic wand and instantly overcome your biggest business challenge, what would it be? And what would achieving that unlock for you?
Yeah, that's a powerful question to think about. It really encourages us to dream big, to imagine a future where those obstacles aren't holding us back anymore. And it reminds us that achieving those big, ambitious goals often starts with just a simple shift in perspective.
It's like we're retraining our brains to focus on solutions instead of getting bogged down by the problems.
Exactly.
And once you have that clear vision of what you want to achieve, it's easier to break it down into those smaller, more manageable steps.
You got it. It's like creating a roadmap for your success.
Right.
Just like a map helps you navigate through unfamiliar territory. This exercise helps you navigate the challenges of building and growing a business.
And remember, you don't have to go through this alone.
Yeah.
We talked about the value of creative consultants, but there's also this whole community of plant-based entrepreneurs, mentors, and resources out there who are ready to support you.
It's really inspiring to see how this community is coming together to share knowledge, collaborate on solutions, and just lift each other up.
That's what it's all about, right? Recognizing that we're stronger together.
Yeah.
That we can achieve so much more when we support each other and share our expertise.
Absolutely. And if you're ever feeling stuck or overwhelmed, don't hesitate to reach out to someone who's been there before. Sometimes all it takes is a fresh perspective or a word of encouragement to help you get back on track.
And if you're ready to take that next step to really dive in and uncover those hidden opportunities in your plant-based business, I highly recommend reaching out to Brennan. His insights and expertise are truly invaluable.
He's amazing at helping businesses like yours unlock their full potential and create a lasting impact.
So don't wait another minute. Take that leap of faith, invest in yourself and your vision, and get ready to see those breakthroughs happen.
Remember, the world needs what you have to offer. Your unique products, services, and perspective are essential to building a more sustainable and compassionate future.
That's a wrap on our deep dive into the world of creative consultants and uncovering those hidden opportunities for plant-based businesses. We hope you've walked away with some valuable insights, practical strategies, and a renewed sense of inspiration.
Keep learning, keep growing, keep experimenting, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself and your mission.
Thanks for joining us on this adventure. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the world of knowledge and discovery.
Until then, keep making a difference. The world is waiting to see what you create.